What's going on, everyone? I want to start today's show off by asking this question. If you had to pick one corner for the Broncos to sign, because we're going to look at some free agent targets today, who would it be? Put the initials or write the name in the comment section below. If it's Stephon Gilmore or bringing back Bryce Callahan, let me know. Put your votes in while this intro video rolls. First things first, the Broncos have made a move. That's right. We're going to break down the splash free agent signing that everyone's heard of, household name, run to the store to get his jersey. All right, well, we'll have a little fun with him later. But then we're going to look at some free agent signings and whatnot. Some free agent targets. But Mike Kliss breaking this earth-shattering news. The Broncos announced a one-year deal with safety J.R. Reed, son, former Vikings wide receiver Jake Reed. Look up his 90 stats. No, Mike, I'm sorry. JR played in 16 games, no starts for Rams and Giants. Actually, my producer today is Marshall, who does our Giants channel. Marshall, right now for the show, have you ever heard of this guy? I'm getting a thumbs down. So that's the kind of player the Broncos got. Even his old team was like, who? I didn't know we had him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. All right, no more jabs at J.R. Reed. Let's look at what he did. Played 9 games last season between the Giants and the Rams, only 13 tackles. He's a special teams kind of player. And if there's something that, and now Marshall, the Giants guy, is nodding his head. If there's something the Broncos do very well, it's getting the best out of special teams players. You just think about a handful of the players that have made some impacts on offense and defense that kind of got their start on special teams. It's almost like you got to go to Second City in Chicago before going to SNL. That's kind of the way I view it. Broncos special teams unit somehow just brings the best out of players. I'm not really sure. But that's the latest news right there in free agency. Also, Brandon Shell visited the Broncos. We'll talk about that at the tail end of the show. But now, let's get to the top free agent targets for the Broncos. Probably the reason why you clicked on today's video. So we're going to be breaking down a handful of players still out in the market that the Broncos could be targeting. We'll be looking at the defensive side of things because that's what the reports and rumors are saying. And we'll start things off with Stephon Gilmore, corner from the Panthers, now a free agent. Apparently the Broncos aren't in the mix, but that doesn't mean I can't talk about him because he's still a very good corner. And honestly, I never even thought the Broncos would be interested in a big-name corner after drafting one last season, 9th overall. And you got Ronald Darby, bit of a price tag right there. You feel like it might be a little crowded. But Allbright saying that the Broncos are looking at corners. Probably not going to be Gilmore, maybe a little bit too pricey. But at the end of the day, remember this. Anything can happen in the NFL. Like, who thought Russell Wilson was going to get traded to the Broncos? Deshaun Watson said I'm not going to the Browns and then traded his mind and went to the Browns. Tom Brady came out of retirement. Devontae Adams got asked to trade to the Raiders after Rodgers came back. So what's one more crazy thing? And if you look at Gilmore in his defensive MVP season back in 2019, if you can get even Stephon Gilmore 2019 light or diet, that's going to be a phenomenal addition. I mean, we're talking about Stephon Gilmore here, who kind of got lost in the mix of being traded to the Panthers and then sitting out 2020 as well, or missing 2020 due to injury. I don't remember which one, but he's still a really good player. So do you want the Broncos to sign Gilmore? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no in the comments below. Why not? I mean, if he's cheap, if he wants to take a bit of a discount, because the Broncos probably don't have the money that other teams could offer up, sign me up. Also, sign me up for free Broncos news and rumors content all year long. I've got a bit of a goal here. I want to reach 7,000 subscribers by the end of this month. So April 1st, we've got 390 to go. So if you haven't subscribed, help a fellow Broncos countryman out. Hit that big red button and do so. Next player to keep an eye on for is Bryce Callahan. Maybe the Broncos want to bring back a corner that's been tough to evaluate his career in Denver, right? He's played in just 21 games of a possible 49 in his 3 seasons in Denver, including missing his entire first season with the Broncos due to injury. And then the next 2 years, 2020 and 2021, just never really getting on track. And Callahan so far in Denver, you look at the stats here for him, we know when he's healthy, he's one of the best corners in the NFL, specifically at that slot position. It's the issue of when he's healthy. That's a question we keep asking ourselves way too often. But if you want Callahan to return to Mile High. Type his jersey number. Type 29 down below. Show him some love, because I can't guarantee it'll bring him back. But on the other side, what if he's like, you know what? Next YouTube video comes out about me, I'm going to that team, and this is the one that his friends and his homies send him because they see all the 29s in the comment section. Different number? How about number 3? How about Russell Wilson in Denver with your own Broncos jersey? That's right. We got them now at Fanatics. Go to chatsports.com/Broncos jersey. The link's in the comments and the description of the video. So if you're looking for a nice Russell Wilson Broncos jersey, that way you have one by week 1, by kickoff, hell, even by training camp, well, we've got you covered. So check it out when you go to chatsports.com/Broncos jersey. Other news, the other target, Steven Nelson, a little bit of a lesser name than Gilmore and Bryce Callahan, but he was a very productive corner last season for the Eagles. Now we'll get approaching that journeyman status, for a second, third round pick if I remember correctly. Anyway, he could be very good for the Broncos. What he did last season for Philadelphia, here's a good measuring stick. I asked my Eagles coworker, hey, what do you think of the Broncos potentially signing Nelson? His response would be a great signing. That's always a good measuring tool of asking the fan of the team they're leaving, do you miss him? They say yes. Good move. Good move right there. Now, Steven Nelson, not your ideal slot, dime, nickel, that kind of corner package like Bryce Callahan is, but there's not a crazy amount of great options out there that fit that mold. And we even saw Surtain do a little bit. Now, I want to keep PS2 on the outside, don't get me wrong, but it would be kind of interesting to maybe toss Darby at one point, rotate it around. I think at this point he's got to look at the best names out there and then work backwards of how can we scheme him best into our team. This is one I'm going to get some heat for, but just kind of hear me out. One, it's a long shot. I'm having fun at this point, but he was released by Tennessee after just one season. I don't think the Broncos are likely to add more wide receivers. Let me upgrade that. The Broncos probably / definitely will not add more wide receivers, but maybe, just maybe, it is Julio Jones's life dream, a secret goal of his, to take the veteran minimum salary and say, I don't need money, and play in Denver. Would be pretty cool. I'm 99% sure it's not going to happen, but at the end of the day, we have seen a lot of crazier things happen, like Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Devontae Adams, and Tom Brady. So what's one more craziness, right? If you're looking at this and you're like, this is a waste of time, this would never happen, I hear what you're saying. I think you're mostly right. But if I had said Watson will go back on his word and actually go to Cleveland, you'd probably call me crazy then too. So shit happens in the NFL, this league, man. All right, let's wrap up the video by looking at this that came out right before we started filming pretty much. Jeremy Fowler tweeting out that former Seahawks right tackle Brandon Shell is visiting the Broncos per source, possibly reuniting with Russell Wilson. Broncos in a market for right tackle, we know this. So is Seattle, which has interest in re-signing him. Here's my concern with signing Brandon Shell, which is that Russell Wilson was sacked a ton in Seattle. Now, maybe there's a Seahawks fan watching this that is just missing Russ and wants to get more Russ content. But does Russell Wilson want old offensive linemen from Seattle to come play in Denver? You know what I'm saying? Like, does he want to get his old offensive line that led to him getting sacked all the time in Denver? Or is he low-key like, you know what? One of the big reasons I wanted out of Seattle was because of the sacks. So could we not sign my old offensive lineman? Could we just try something else? Because I know what that path is like. Brandon Shell's not a bad tackle. He is not. He was one of the better ones according to Pro Football Focus. But that's just my kind of working theory is maybe Russ is like, you know what? Let's not and say we did. Let's get someone else. What do you think, though? Should the Broncos sign Shell? Give me an S for sign or a P for pass down below. That's going to wrap up today's show. So let me know in the comments what you want them to do with Brandon Shell. I don't like the idea of sticking with Calvin Anderson and Tom Compton to compete for the right tackle spot. But maybe Russ doesn't want to bring, a Seahawks offensive lineman to Denver. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And that's going to do for us here on the Broncos Breakdown.